When you have multiple outcome-based video testimonials, they don't have to be long. In fact, you want them to be short. The attention span of people is relatively short these days, so your clips have to be relatively short, but they have to be outcome-based. When you have that, you have an incredibly powerful tool to help you sell more. Now, the next way you can incorporate social proof elements into your business so you can get more clients, so you can become more attractive and trustworthy to them, so you can be seen as the authority that you really are, is by utilizing storytelling methods that incorporate social proof. And to understand how that works and how we can use that in our business. Hey everybody, I'm Ken Newhouse, and I'm going to welcome you to the Get Clients Now podcast, the show where high-growth consultants and professionals come to access the newest and most effective methods and systems for online marketing, advanced sales and persuasive communication strategies, and automated marketing funnels. And if you're wondering if the Get Clients Now podcast can help you get more high-value clients, enjoy more sales, build a massive tribe, and make more money, you're absolutely going to love this show.
Newhouse's work completely blows everything else that we've ever done with Google out of the water.
I have been looking for a way to grow my presence online, and what I've viewed from Newhouse's work was something that certainly is faster than anything I've seen before.
He says he's going to do something and he does it. He does it in the time frame that he says he's going to do it in. It's exciting when you talk about the results that you're going to get, and you can believe his word because he follows it up with action.
The Newhouse is direct, he's to the point, he tells you what's on his mind, and he backs his words up. From what I know now, from working with him, he's passionate about his work, and he backs it up 100%.
What I like best is you offer something that no one else has out there, which is a pretty comprehensive approach about marketing a system.
If somebody asks me, should they use Newhouse's team? Absolutely, because you're going to get the important information that you need very, very quickly.
On the internet, on the different marketing techniques, I've never experienced anything like this.
I would definitely recommend Ken Newhouse for someone who's serious about growing their business. I think that your results based on the numbers would at least double the sales in a very short time frame.
Hey everybody, Ken Newhouse here from KenNewhouse.com, and I'm going to welcome you back to the Get Clients Now podcast, where the one-size-fits-all marketing model is dumb, the client-centric business model is king, and the sales control system gives you the tools to build your tribe with certainty. This is episode number 330 of the Get Clients Now podcast, and on today's show, I'm going to dive back into our series on storytelling for business. Now, if you guys remember from last week, I was planning on having the interview I did recently with Doug Stevenson on the show today, but my trip being out of town right after Christmas lasted longer than I had anticipated, and that's because my youngest daughter, Hannah Ray, the champ, as I like to refer to her, well, Hannah's soccer team actually made the national tournament. She's playing at the elite championship level. There is no higher level of soccer for girls this age, and certainly making the national tournament down in Lakewood Ranch, Florida is a big deal. And so we're going to actually have Doug's interview on next week's show. And on today's show, I'm actually going to show you how to incorporate social proof into your stories so you can get more clients, sell more of your stuff, and make your business more profitable in 2020. Now, I'll get into why you want to incorporate social proof into your business in just a few minutes when I play a 4-minute clip of Dr. Bob Cialdini. Dr. Bob's the Regent Emeritus Professor at Arizona State University. He's the leading authority in the entire universe on persuasion. He's written multiple best-selling books, the book called Influence and also the book Persuasion. He is the dude, man. He is the guy. But Dr. Bob's going to break it down for us. But before we get to that point, we need to answer a very, very important question. And that question is this. Why do we need to deploy social proof elements in our business in 2020? Why do we need to incorporate social proof into our storytelling as a means of building trust and authority in the eyes of our prospects? Well, to answer that question, let's go ahead and turn our sights back to Dr. Cialdini and see what he has to say about the current environment we're all doing business in. Now, I've got a clip of Dr. Cialdini's recent presentation he did for the National Association of Realtors. And while you may not be a realtor, don't make the mistake of saying, hey, listen, I'm not a realtor. I'm a consultant, or I'm a coach, or I'm a dentist, or I'm a chiropractor, or I'm a small business owner, or yada, yada, yada. This doesn't apply to me, Ken. Listen to me. This information applies to you as much as it applies to a realtor, to a dentist, to a surgeon, to a coach, a consultant. It doesn't matter. This is information that deals with human behavior, the known elements and tenets of human behavior. This is, without question, information that is relevant to you and your business. So let's go ahead and listen to this first clip from Dr. Cialdini, and then we'll pick back up on the other side.
We have become the single most uncertain environment that in the history of our planet, because there's so much change, there's so many alternatives, so much pace to modern life, and certainly the real estate industry is part of that. Mortgage rates change, interest rates change, desirable features change. All things are changing, and as a consequence, the people involved are uncertain about what they should do. And here's what happens under conditions of uncertainty. They freeze. They sit on the fence. How do we get them off? Well, the answer is persuasion. So I should define persuasion for you, right? For me, it's the ability to move people in your direction, to increase the probability that they will say yes to a request or a proposal or a recommendation that you make to them without changing the merits of what you are offering one bit, but only changing the way you present the merits of your case. I'm not talking about presenting a meritless case. You wouldn't be in this room if you had a meritless case to make. Right? You have strong cases. Right? But here's the question. How do you optimize the delivery of your case? That's what social psychologists like myself have been studying for over 50 years now. I want to report to you on what we've found. In my research, there are 6 universal principles of persuasion that if one or another is included in a message, you significantly increase the probability of assent to that message. The same thing that you're offering. You say it this way, and this many people say yes. You say it this way, and this many people say yes to it. So that's what we want to talk about. What are those principles? Here they are. Right? 6 of them. Notice that I've put them in 2 separate columns because the principles on the left generate yes by building and strengthening relationships between the person who is making the request and the recipient of it. The other 3 get to yes by reducing uncertainty on the part of the recipient that this is the right person for me to partner with in going forward. This is the right time to do it. And this recommendation that this individual is making to me is the right one to adopt. Reducing those uncertainties gets you to yes significantly more often every time.
Okay, so now that we've actually listened to what Dr. Cialdini has to say about the current environment in which we're all doing business, right? A lot of people, a lot of things going on where people simply are afraid. They're paralyzed with fear. They're paralyzed with uncertainty. And as a result, a lot of people aren't going to buy your stuff. So there's a way to get around that. And a way to get around that is to incorporate social proof elements into your business. And so to get a very clear understanding, a very concise understanding of what social proof is, how it works, and how it can benefit us in business, let's again turn back to Dr. Cialdini, hear what he has to say about social proof. And then following this clip, I'm going to give you some comments of my own, some suggestions of my own. We're going to talk about, as an example, outcome-based video testimonials. And then we're going to actually dive into a clip that I have from Doug Stevenson, where he talks about utilizing social proof in your storytelling methods. And I think that's going to set the stage for us for our show, where he's going to be the featured guest coming up next week. So let's go ahead and dive back into Dr. Cialdini's talk and hear what he has to say about social proof and using social proof to sell more of your stuff.
What the research shows is that we follow the lead of many others and of similar others. Here's the best evidence I know. It actually came from a study that was done by my research team. You all know that if you travel at all, in about 70% of the hotel rooms where you stay, there's a sign somewhere in the room. Here's the one in your room. It's not from your room. I didn't go into your room and get this. Here's the one that's in all our rooms at this hotel, asking us to reuse our towels and linen. Right? And most of these say, please do this for the environment. That's the typical sort of, these signs will be hanging on racks or so on. Most of these say, do this for the environment. With my team, we asked, what could you say on this sign that would increase the likelihood that people would do this, besides do this for the environment? Well, like has occurred here at the Venetian, there's a group of hotel managers who've said, please help us make a difference. Join us in making a difference. Cooperate with us toward this cause. You've seen that. It's on your sign. So we went into rooms. I live in the Phoenix area. We went into 3 hotels in Phoenix, and with the cooperation of the managers, randomly put that original sign, do this for the environment, or this one, join us, cooperate with us toward this good cause. Right? And we looked to see, we had the maids check whether people actually hung up their towels the next day. Right? And here's what we found. On the first night, we just looked at the first night, for some statistical reasons I won't bother you with, right? For people traveling alone, because we wanted to be sure the person who read the sign was the last one who dealt with a towel, right? If the sign said, do this for the environment, about 38% of them hung up their towel. If the sign said, cooperate with us, join us in doing so. Any idea what that effect would be? The size of that effect? Any? 50%? Nothing. In fact, less. What? Wait a minute. Isn't cooperation one of the things that leads people? Well, yes. Partnership is, if it's a genuine partnership, right? My idea of a partnership is that there is equal pain and equal gain for both sides. Here's what the hotels are asking us to do in their idea of a partnership. You pay us $299 tonight, and tomorrow you don't get to use a fluffy towel. That's their deal. That's their partnership. Wait a minute. All the gain is yours. All the pain is ours. And so people were not interested. Right? But we had a third sign, one based on the idea of social proof, that says people follow what those around them are doing. This sign said, the majority of guests who stay at our hotel do reuse their towels at least once during their stay. And that was true. And what happened there was now they got the most they had ever gotten. Now that's not easy for you because the majority of practitioners are not using this. So let's see if we can defeat that problem by looking at something else that we know about the consensus principle. It's not just many others, it's similar others, comparable others. A way that I reduce my uncertainty of what I should do is not just to look around at what many others are doing, but to look around at what people like me are doing in that situation. So we had a fourth sign. It didn't say the majority of guests who stay in our hotel reuse their towels at least once. It said, the majority of guests who stay in room 217, like you, reuse their towels at least once. Not the people in room 219, no. Those are the people across the hall. Like you. Like you. And under those circumstances, we get the most they have ever gotten.
So when your prospective new clients or your prospective new customers or your prospective new patients can see other people who are, quote, like them, who are doing business with you and they're very happy, they're very content with the outcome, they're delighted, they're going to find it much, much easier, much, much safer to make the decision to go with you and what you're selling. So as an example, I mentioned just a few minutes ago, outcome-based video testimonials. Why are those so important? Well, first of all, outcome-based video testimonials is a great form of social proof. You know, one of the stories that I like to tell about a form of social proof that we can all relate to is this. Let's say that a brand new restaurant, a fabulous new restaurant is going to be opening up in the town where you live. It's all over the news. It's all over the media. Everybody's talking it up. All of your friends know about it. It's going to be opening up next Saturday. The place is completely sold out. There's no available spots, so you can't come next Saturday. So you're all excited about the restaurant, and actually your anticipation, your excitement gets the best of you. So what do? You want to drive by the night of the grand opening just to see how many people show up. And what do you see? There's a line of cars backed up for like a quarter mile. There are police on the street directing traffic into the lot. There's a traffic jam as a result of the mad rush to get into this restaurant. Same thing the next night. The next night, the same thing. A week goes by, and the following week, you've got reservations to go on a Saturday night. You're expecting a lot of traffic. You're expecting the police to be there directing traffic. You're expecting a long wait. You're just figuring with great excitement, yeah, this is a little bit of a headache, but you know what? I'm stoked to go to the new restaurant. Then you pull up to the restaurant, and the parking lot is only half full. No policemen, no line of traffic, nothing. You pull into the parking lot, and one thought crosses your mind. What is that thought? Listen, if the restaurant was that good, wouldn't the parking lot be full? What happened between this week and last? The only thing you can think of, and listen, nobody has had to tell you anything. No one has had to tell you about an experience they had at the restaurant, the food, or anything else. You already know through social proof, through the cars in that parking lot, if that restaurant is a good restaurant or not. So that's one form of social proof. Another form of social proof in your business, and actually this is a tool that I recommend often. In fact, we created a product on this many, many years ago. It's one of our best-selling products of all time. It's a system. It's the video testimonial system, and it allows you to get outcome-based video testimonials. So as an example, if you're a cosmetic dentist, or if you're a chiropractor, or if you're a cosmetic surgeon, or if you're a consultant, what you want to do is you want to get testimonials and you want them on video. You know, Dr. Cialdini mentioned in that first cut that I played for you about the environment in which we do business, how people are untrusting and how they're unsure and how they're paralyzed with fear and uncertainty. And so as a result, they can't make the purchase. They can't pull the trigger and become your client, your patient, your customer. And that's why we use elements of social proof. And so having testimonials on video is critically important. Number one, because people don't believe written testimonials, especially online. People don't believe written testimonials online, even if you have a picture. And it's certainly people don't believe testimonials where you use the first name and the last initial. As an example, the MyPillow guy, and actually maybe a nice guy, but I can't stand the guy just because I'm sick of his commercials. Okay, I'm sick of the MyPillow commercials, but you have all these people that are, it's like Mike S. and Judy L. and, Debbie Z. or whatever else. In my mind, I'm thinking these people probably work for him at his warehouse because, in fact, if they were real customers and they really love the MyPillow, why not include their last name? What do they think? People are going to stalk them because of that? Now, do you need to use a first and last name with video testimonials? Absolutely not. The fact that you have a live, breathing person on video talking about the situation they had before they saw you, the situation of going through the process of you being a client, a customer, or patient of yours, and then the benefits they enjoyed, the difference between when they started and after they interacted with you. And then you have lots of people who give you their testimonial on video, and all they're doing is simply sharing their story. There's a process to go through, and this is a process that you can learn, right? That's what we teach in the video testimonial system. And in fact, there have been multiple occasions where on my podcast, I've actually given it away for free, right? This is a $500 system. I used to sell it for $1,000. I actually have had a couple different episodes where we actually gave it away free. But my point is this. When you have multiple outcome-based video testimonials, they don't have to be long. In fact, you want them to be short. The attention span of people is relatively short these days, so your clips have to be relatively short, but they have to be outcome-based. When you have that, you have an incredibly powerful tool to help you sell more. Now, the next way you can incorporate social proof elements into your business so you can get more clients, so you can become more attractive and trustworthy to them, so you can be seen as the authority that you really are, is by utilizing storytelling methods that incorporate social proof. And to understand how that works and how we can use that in our business, let's go ahead and listen to a presentation where Doug Stevenson gave. It's a relatively short presentation. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long. And in that clip, you're going to get a firsthand education. Immediately, you're going to understand how to utilize social proof in your storytelling without thumping your chest and beating your chest and saying, hey, look how great I am. Look how wonderful I am. Pick me, pick me, pick me. All right, let's go ahead and listen to Doug.
I call a credibility story. Here's what I call a credibility story. I was sitting in my office in Colorado Springs. The phone rang. There's a guy named Larry V up here in Denver. I said, hi, Larry. How you doing? What's going on? He said, Doug, I got your name from Wendy. She graduated from your Story Theater retreat, and she said, you're the story guy, and I should talk to you if I want to have better stories. And I said, okay, well, what's your situation? He said, Doug, I have a consultancy, small business consultancy up here in Denver. And I got 4 people on staff and a receptionist up on the 34th floor. I got a lot of overhead, a lot of stuff going on. And we have been doing great until 2008. I mean, we had a solid base of business, referrals, the phone just kept ringing, and then 2008 happened. Do you guys remember 2008? It was kind of weird, right? And he says, Doug, all of a sudden after 2008 in the recession, the phone stopped ringing. And I didn't know what to do, so I decided that I was going to do these presentations in hotels. I'd never done them before, so I, get wine and cheese and crackers and stuff, and I'd, invite people in, and they'd come into the hotel, and I'd do these, 30-minute presentations for people. And I said, well, that sounds great. How's that working? He says, it's not working. It is not working at all. I have done a whole bunch of these things, and I've had 200 people come to these presentations, and I've gotten 2 clients. Do the math. You guys are CPAs. 2 out of 200, what's the percentage? Oh, no. 1% closing ratio. I said, ooh, Larry, that doesn't sound very good. And he says, yeah, but Doug, here's the thing. I'm telling stories, but they're not working. I mean, there's obviously something I don't get because I'm telling stories, but they're not working. Can you help me? And I said, well, come on down to my studio, buy a couple hours of my time, and we'll work on it. So he came down to my studio. We had 2 hours to do some consulting, and I said, here's what we're going to do. I want you first to identify 3 demographics, 3 types of clients that you would like to attract. So I want you all to be doing this as I tell this story. You got 3 client profiles. You say, this is my sweet spot, this is my sweet spot, this is what I want. I want to attract these 3. Got out a flipboard, we went through a bunch of stuff, we narrowed it down to 3. I said, good. That's 3 stories. Now, I want 3 common issues that keep coming up all the time. So you got your 3 demographics. You're doing this with me, right? 3 issues that you hear over and over and over again that are the most common pain points, the most common issues. You got those? 3 demographics, a nice diversity of those. Male, female, couple, big company, family-owned company, whatever, different kind of demographics, different kind of issues. And I said, good, we've got 3 demographics, we've got 3 issues. We're going to try and match the issue with the demographic in a way that's organic, in a way that naturally fits. He says, that's a piece of cake because this demographic and this issue, naturally. He put the 3 together. I said, great, now we've got our 3 stories. Let's work on those 3 stories. Because when you go into a presentation like this, if you've got a story with an A issue, it speaks to a certain segment of the room. Another issue, another demographic speaks to another segment of the population in the room. Another demographic, another issue speaks to another group in the room. He said, this is really interesting. This is fascinating. I had never thought of it this way. It's very strategic. I went, yeah, it's very strategic because if you want to get results, you have to be strategic. You have to have a process. So we worked on the stories and I said, now we got 3 demographics. We got 3 issues. We need 3 phrase that pays. We need a call to action for each one that summarizes the lesson of the work that you did with that client. 3, 3, 3. Here's what I just did that you might not consciously been aware of. It was Larry's situation. It was Larry's words. It was Larry's motivations. And it was Larry's results. He said to me, Doug, I'm doing these presentations in hotels. I said, how's that working for you? He said, these things are costing me a fortune. I'm not getting the results I need. I literally am quoting him throughout the story. I'm not telling it from my point of view. I'm telling it from his point of view, his words. In other words, this is a testimonial story that's coming out of my mouth. I'm literally doing a testimonial story, but he's telling the story. I just happen to be the mouthpiece, the storyteller. Do you hear this? So what you need to do when you're telling stories is shift from your perspective and your words and your language and your stuff to literally thinking back, what did they say to me when they called me on the phone? What were their motivations? What were their words? And you literally craft the story with their words. And it's really important that they use your name. He, throughout the story, said, you know, Doug, I'm telling stories, but it's not working. Every time I said Doug, it's his voice talking to me. And that's a critical piece of this. So they need to use your name over and over again, and then it's their story. And it sounds like that. It's very strategic. So I call it a credibility story. And he says, Doug, you were right. When you said emotion is a fast lane to the brain, you got to make an emotional connection. Here's the thing about the emotional connection with storytelling. If you make an emotional connection, people trust you. Would you agree with that? You have credibility and they trust you and they know you're no longer just trying to sell me something so you can make a commission or you can make a bunch of money. You actually care.
All right, so Doug refers to this as a credibility story, and certainly it's a credibility story wrapped in social proof. You're telling the story from the point of your patient or your client or your customer. This is not your story, it's their story. And there's a certain way to tell that story if you want it to be effective. And by the way, it can be extremely effective. When you learn to tell stories like this, they're lethal. They are so effective at getting people to say yes, give you money, and become your clients, your customers, and your patients. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode, but be sure to come back because next week, I've already done the interview. It's already completed. It's just in the editing process. We're going to have the first half of the interview that I did with Doug Stevenson. He's the creator of the Story Theater Method. He's also the author of the book by the same title. It's a best-selling book. You know, if you look online, you'll see that Doug's actually done presentations for Google. His clients consist of Coca-Cola, Google, I mean, you name Fortune 1000, Fortune 100 companies. He also works with private clients, but his stuff is literally gold. If you want to learn how to incorporate story into your business so you can attract more clients, sell more of your stuff, and become more profitable. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. If your business is struggling and you can't crack the online marketing code, and you'd like to access the newest and most effective strategies, systems, and tools that are working right now in the trenches, check out the funneltribes.com online community and discover how thousands of consultants and professionals just like you are transforming their businesses, building massive tribes of loyal clients, and making more money.